to your favorite show, Inside Nigeria. And now for the first part of the show, I'll be reading to you major stories from 5 different Nigerian newspapers. And for the second part of the show, Winifred and the public analysts are already in the studio to do justice to the stories. My name is Tion Joseph, and without further ado, I'd like to begin today's show with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, the Leadership newspaper. Now on Leadership this morning, the major story says, in fresh overtures, Atiku recruits ex-PDP governors, leaders to pacify Wike's camp. You can see these dates of the story on page 4. Moving down there, the first bullet says, as party reschedules Kebbi, Zamfara rallies. Next bullet says, Wike appoints 14,359 advisors, liaison officers. On to the last bullet for Leadership this morning says, ignore obedient movement at your own parade. Nigerians won PDP at Leadership Twitter Spaces. That is all we'll be taking. There are a lot of other stories on Leadership. We crave your indulgence to hop onto our website, www.leadership.ng, so that you can find the stories and much more. Over to the next daily on my list, I have This Day. And on this day, the major story says, Buhari, citizens who contribute to national development deserve to be appreciated. Moving down there, it says, honors Obiagbena, Okonjo Iweala, Amina Mohammed, Lawan, Omo Agege, Mustafa, Kiari, Fashola, Adiche, Wigwe, Agbola, 437 others. Reiterates readiness to bequeath a secure nation to successor next year. Ezel Commonplace exclusion of Saraki. That is all we'll be taking on this day, this morning. Over to the next Nigerian daily. Very quickly on my list, we'll be taking for the next paper this morning. We'll be taking the Punch. On the Punch this morning, the list story says presidential fleet funding rises to 81 billion naira under Buhari. Okay, first bullet there says president fails to uphold pledge to reduce aircraft. Budgets for Aso Villa refreshments jump to 2 billion naira. And the very last bullet on the Punch this morning says Nigeria over borrowing fund non-essential items. Duns. That is all we'll be taking on the Punch. Let's move briskly on to the next Nigerian daily, which will be the last for the first part of the show this morning. I'll be taking Blueprint. The lead story says Buhari on 2022 National Awards will continue to celebrate dignity, strength of character. Moving down there, Lawan Ariwola, UN Deputy Scribe, ex-CGN Tanko, Okonjo Iweala, Obiagbena, honored. Oni of Ife, Olu of Wari, Adesina, Sabiu Tunde, 437 others too. And the very last bullet on the Blueprint says 7 foreigners make list. Thanks for joining us on the first part of the show. And like I said earlier, the show is just getting started. Please stay tuned for the panel discussion. My name is Tion Joseph, and I'll be back in the studio by 10 a.m. tomorrow. Do have a great day.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Good morning and welcome to the midweek edition of Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Obeba. With me in the studio is a triple card chief. He's a public affairs analyst, a TV host, and a syndicated columnist. And incidentally, he is celebrating 32 years of media activism today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Winifred.
It's a pleasure to have you on the program. And he's also celebrating 10 years of being a columnist with the Punch newspaper.
Thank you.
Congratulations once again.
We thank God for the grace.
And for someone so young, you started so early.
Yeah, I did. 1990, just like a child's play, I was writing letter to the editor.
Wow.
At that time, it was just like, something keeping yourself busy, trying to advocate for better governance. That was under the military. It came with a price because many publicly owned newspapers then didn't want to publish anything that seems to be against government. So, luckily, as at that time, we already have some private newspapers like the Champion, Concord, Daily Times was still in existence, and a host of others. So, if you send to public ones and it doesn't publish, you send it to the private ones. But we thank God, I never knew it's going to be something this big because I wasn't really, I'm not the very vocal type. When I was younger, 32 years ago. but it's the pull. I think it's the pull from the media. Because really I've not had my living from the media, but it's come with some measure of name and face recognition.
Now, would you say that after 32 years of being a media activist, that your dream of a better Nigeria has come to fruition, or is coming to fruition?
Of course not. It's a work in progress. Every country has their own bumpy challenges, but the fact that in 23 years now there have been no military takeover. We are learning as we go, and we are overcoming some of the challenges. Of course, new ones are coming up. I haven't seen the Nigeria of my dream, but I believe one day soon. Um, don't forget, what was it? Martin Luther King said he had a dream. That dream didn't come to reality until about 50 years after he had the dream. And today, America is probably a country of equal opportunities because a black man in the White House, they were so discriminatory, so racist that they called the presidential lodge a White House. But today, a black man and a black first lady have inhabited that same White House. So I believe with time, if we go on this trajectory, learning, falling, rising, and every 4 years we have opportunity to change our bad leaders and recruit new ones, hoping that they will be good. I believe one day so. If not in my lifetime, I pray it's in my lifetime, but if not, at least the children will see it. We hope that they will see a better country than Nigeria.
Thank you so much. You talked about new challenges coming up. Last week, a few days ago, the nation was awash with the fact that Tom Polo, who was actually given a huge 4.8 billion contract surveillance pipeline, discovered a pipeline, a sophisticated one at that. And while many Nigerians also put pointing fingers at the presidency, but up to now we've not heard any word from the presidency. So what do we have in our hands?
This leaves a sore taste in the mouth. Let's look at the why. For me, it doesn't come as a surprise. What has happened can be likened to when you recruit a megad and you now dismiss that megad, maybe for one indiscretion. There is that tendency for them to connive and show you pepper, as they say in local parlance. Oh, you don't want to deal with us, we will show you our relevance. Don't forget, this oil pipeline surveillance It's not the first time.
Yes, it's not. It was given
Under Goodluck Jonathan,
administration.
the country, the Niger Delta, was parceled to different militants, including the OPC. The oil pipeline surveillance contract were awarded to them. I think about 6 in 6 batches. But Buhari came and cancelled it. When Buhari cancelled it, and they passed the Petroleum Industry Act, the host community failed to get 5% of the operating cost of the IOC for development of the. So they shouted, they clamored, they protested. The Nigerian people, the Nigerian leader said, make do with this 3%. Now, that may have ignited the sabotage that we have witnessed over a long time. Most of the pipelines that were today being purportedly discovered were never hidden. They were never hidden, at least to the local communities. They know. They just cover it. It's like when you set trap, you just cover it with sand. But you have already set a mark.
We lay mines. You just cover them.
Exactly. You already knew where those pipelines are. You maybe it's a tree or something you plant to know that that's number 15. That's number 17 is by the water. So you just cover it with sand so that it will not be apparent. But the people in the communities know. And
for them to even know the years.
Yeah, exactly. They are telling you 9 years. There has been 9 years. How did they know who was doing the calculation? And today, people will tell you that government Ekwemumpolo, who is the traditional ruler of is it Baramoto Kingdom?
Baramoto Kingdom.
That he's in Delta. The gunboat he has rivals that of Nigerian Navy. Personal arsenal. What was he doing with them? These are militants that the Nigerian government, they brought the country down to its knees under
Obasanjo.
Under Obasanjo and later Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. In 2009. They were doing all of this oil theft. As at that time, under Obasanjo, the early part of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who, that was when you have high number of hostage taking, oil workers were being picked like snails, and then there was siphoning of illegal bunkering. All of this have been practiced even then under Obasanjo regime. So, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua
unleashed.
Yes, that was when OD in Bayelsa was leveled. Then Zakin Bia in Vandekia area of Benue State, But you see, the end has come home to roost. I listened to the interview granted by Tompolo, government Ekwemumpolo, aka Tompolo. He said the oil theft you are talking is in cahoots with the Nigerian military. That they provide cover, and some of them actually owned some of these illegal vessels.
Yes.
What has been the response of Nigerian state? I did an article in my column in the Punch about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, where I said Nigeria economy is hemorrhaging. And I cited 3 reasons why the Nigerian, thank you for showing Tompolo's picture. He's been granting press interview. He said, look no further. It's the military that is providing cover for these illegal bunkers. And some of them actually owned those vessels.
And it was also alleged that the ship is a sophisticated one that can actually take about 1 billion barrels.
Yes, the one that they burnt.
So
the one that they burnt
has
600 600,000 barrels, the one that came from Ghana, that was seized and bought.
And that there's no way it can come on the seas and to be undetected by the Navy.
I said, not what about Nimasa? Somebody is in charge of Nimasa. Nimasa, Nigerian Navy, Marine Police, NSCDC. You recall that early this year in Rivers,
Yes.
the governor, we can talk about a DPO that owned illegal bunkering.
Yes.
And then NSCDC officials that were also culpable. So what has the state done when these discoveries were made? And that's what has emboldened the Niger Delta citizens to also go into these illegal refineries. So they just take small tap. They are tapping their own.
We saw a report on Rice Television.
Yes, yes. They say, look, we saw the big men are coming with vessels. We don't have vessels. So, and so, in fact, 2 of them said they are graduates. And that this is what they use to feed their father, their mothers, and their family.
Yes.
That what is it? They are not thieves. But they are not thieves.
Actually, they even watched some of their colleagues who were part of them die in the process of.
Yes, they said people die on a daily basis. Yes. That yes, it's a high level risk, but where is the job? That the state has refused to provide them jobs, and because of that, they have to survive. One of them was asked, what if it's Oveteme John that did that report? Oveteme happens to be formerly with AIT that did that report for Arise City. They asked him, what if the government offers you job? He said, which job would they offer me now? Will they pay? That those who are doing who are employed, they are not even being paid. They are being on salaries. ASU, 8 months salary. Now that has not been paid. So what we are seeing is a high level of collusion. And it is shameful that we have a president who also doubles as Minister of Petroleum Resources, under whose watch this action have lingered. You see, look, in August, according to OPEC report, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Corporation, according to OPEC report, August, we could not produce up to 1 million barrels per day when we projected production of 1.8 million barrels per day for 2022 budget. In August, we barely produced 900,000 barrels. That is half of our projected production was stolen. The ship that was bought 2 days ago, I watched, was it yesterday? I watched the interview granted by the intelligence officer that led the seizure. He said they laid ambush, the ship moved into position, they opened the valve, they connected the hose, they filled the thing up. And that has been a daily phenomenon. So they allowed them to even take the crude before they now came out and said they are under arrest. But like I argued, this oil theft is oil something you put in nylon bag or polythene bag and walk away. It's not. This is an highly inflammable product. You possibly need to have seen the level of sophistication with which this illegal tapping of Nigerian crude was being done. From the main trunk of the pipeline, they breached the pipeline and connected different layers of hoses to be siphoning. And you need to see a trending video, which I saw this morning, of a lady who was shouting that after the burning of the ship that came to that the entire community where that is now having health issues. Many of them are coughing blood because of the pollution. So it's a catch-22 situation. But if there had not been collusion of Nigerian military and armed forces, this thing could not have lingered. Why was Nimasa set up in the first place? What about the Nigerian Marine Police? The police department that is in charge of Because if you go to Bayelsa, go to Rivers, there are communities that when you are going, as you have police station on ground, they also have police station on water. They patrol with their boat. They will flag you down if they suspect anything. And all of this, they were patrolling and they never reported that they saw this. There was a stolen crude oil ship that was allegedly arrested off Equatorial Guinea.
And this
recently.
man, before he also died, he also had a contract to patrol the seas.
Who?
This Benin billionaire that died last year.
Oh, okay. Is it Captain yes.
Captain Musa
Okubo. Okay, I didn't know he was also into oil pipeline surveillance. But
not oil, but seas. I think
no.
he had his contract revoked too by
okay, because of personality clash. Now, the point to note, again, thank God for social media. There's another trending story, Winifred. I don't know if you saw it, of how Aramco in Saudi Arabia is monitoring their own pipeline. They didn't send it to non-state actor. They would use technology. There was this trending story, the video I saw yesterday.
But incidentally, the Navy boast of sophisticated Navy, because there was a time they paid a courtesy visit to our office, and he was asked that you have, and he took pride in telling us what their radar or their technology sophisticated can do, that they can even track the boat where it offloads it. So why are they not doing that?
Well, exactly. That is the collusion and connection, and that's why some Nigerians are asking: should Nigerian president have honored the military chiefs under whose watch Nigeria became so flattened economically due to these leakages, economic sabotage? Because if they were on top of their game, we would not have lost almost 900,000 barrels per day in August. It was popular outcry by people like us, by many other Nigerian media spaces, that led government to now say enough of this oil theft. And now we are seeing results. Even though I have issues with having to cede part of this country to a non-state actor to help us to do surveillance of, because that in itself generated some hula baloo. Remember the Ansari Dokubos of this world and some other Niger Delta military, Tom Ateke, why also that look, you cannot give one person
has been in jail, South Africa.
That one is. I'm talking of Ateke Tom and Ansari Dokubo. They came out and said, look, we are not fools. You cannot give this multi-billion contract to one individual and that you expect him to come. So we just hope that we are not creating a monster that will consume us. Because from what I learned yesterday, the Tompolo's security surveillance contract is for just like 6 months or 9 months, with a benchmark within 40 days, within 45 days, so when the contract is off, what does he do with all the sophisticated armory that he has acquired? What about?
Okay, did he acquire those sophisticated armory for the purpose of the?
I don't know. You know, he was initially engaging.
But you also saw.
He may have acquired them as at that time.
I also saw a training video of Asari Dokubo. Was it this year when he had his, let's say his guard, security guard, wear arms with sophisticated weapons?
That's what we are saying. They are wear arms. In fact, you know that there was the saying. I saw a video where that interview that Asari Dokubo granted, where he was condemning Akop leader Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
And the interviewer asked him that he played a role in facilitating the escape of Nnamdi Kanu some years ago. He said, well, whatever he did at that time, he did it because he believed in the struggle for Biafra. But that Ijaw nation, Ijaw land is not part of Biafra. And they have derailed because of the unknown government attack that is taking place. Anyway, the point is that many of these Niger Delta militants who are said to be repentant and now are embraced peace. Many of them have sophisticated arms and ammunition that they brought in through the ISIS. Because what has happened with our maritime domain, Nigerian Navy seems not to have been capable of doing the needful to protect our maritime domain.
But why is the federal government still silent on this discovery? Because as
They
of
just,
now,
they're not silent.
they have not
The chief
reacted
of
to
the chief of defense staff, Mele Kyari, and many other top-notch people have gone to the Niger to the site of where this discovery was made. I saw them in raincoats, wearing raincoats, and wearing all these boots, on news. And they went there and they were expressing amazement at and promising heaven and earth that those who are found will be dealt with. They are called. But the point is, somebody is responsible for Western Naval Command, Eastern Naval Command, Southern Naval Command. Under whose watch all of these have been happening? We have earlier mentioned the one done the discovery by Wike, that Wike has to even pay each local government chairman in Rivers State 20 million for them to demolish all these illegal refining modular refinery that are in Atomi. But those ones will just beat a retreat and come back.
And you know, when Nielsen Wike raised the alarm over the discovery of this, the federal government kept him as if it was Rivers State.
Because they're working in cahoot with those who are, and who knows? And you know, that's part of the reason why people said, why did you have to destroy evidences? That now you caught a thief and then you destroy the property that you instead of going to court to seek conviction. But the flip side of that argument is that if you don't destroy it, what if the evidence even disappeared? Because somebody can bribe his way and then they will make away with the ship. We have seen instances where exhibits will disappear from the exhibit with the warehouse where they are kept. And this is not something you can take offshore to go and keep. Maybe what should have been done is to grind the ship in such a way that it can no longer be mobile. But then they have videoed, so they have enough evidence to prosecute those who are arrested. But these people who are arrested are not the bearers.
No, they're actually working.
They are the
hirelings.
They are just the foot soldiers. So the people that the Nigerian state, if it wants to end this, that it needs to go after are the bearers, the kingpins who sponsor this economic sabotage on their country. They are billionaires in dollars. Because just imagine the price of crude oil in international market as of today, and we are losing, at least by the admittance of the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, we are losing 400,000 barrels per day. But NNPC will tell you it's much more than that. That is about 1 million or 900,000 barrels per day. And we are not ashamed as a country to admit, and under a government of change, that all of this has been going on for over 9 years. And in fact, I believe it's been going on for much more than 9 years. Because this issue of, since we started producing crude oil in Nigeria, that was 1958. Under the previous administration, our open quota were meeting a 2.1 million barrels per day. Now, this administration, as of 2022, cut it to 1.8. Now we cannot even meet 1.8. Now, in 2023 budget estimate, it's now brought down to 1.69 million barrels per day. And there is no assurances that we will still meet this if the issue of oil theft is not caught. And they know the identity of those who are behind these things. Intelligence report must have been submitted. Maybe when they didn't act on it, that's why. The Navy may not be able to come out and say, we submitted. It's not like what happened with the abduction that took place in Kaduna. or the attack. Let me even say the attack that took place at Kuje prison, where the deputy speaker House of Reps said the intelligence shows that 55 reports were submitted by relevant security intelligence agencies that place was going to be attacked, and none of that
moved to
was,
secure it.
no, there was no attempt to secure it. So you cannot actually blame entirely the Navy, the Air Force, the Massa, if they, because all of them report to National Security Advice. And you know the military command is obey the last order. So if you have intelligence that this whole thing was going to happen, and you write to your superior, and you are expecting a follow-up action, and it never came, maybe the cronies, because you cannot rule out what is going on in Niger Delta. This one theft away. You cannot rule out the politicians from being the masterminds and the ROS of this. And when they are the one funding the party, they are the one bankrolling the elections, how do you want the same government who has profited from these people to apprehend them and prosecute them? Because they will spill beans. So they will say, how many billions did that? Did you remember your campaigns? How many billions? Did you actually?
I just gave to you the other day.
Do you think I'll be Father Christmas when I pledged 500 million I gave to your campaign organization? Did you ask me where I got the money? So there is a nexus why there was inactivity and the sabotage that persisted. I believe that maybe the Navy, the Air Force, the other people, they just started helping themselves when they saw that their superiors were not interested in curbing the exercise. Recall that what happened with the abductees of Nigerian Railway between Governor Rufai came out and said, look, we hear them. We listen to their conversation. We know the exact location of their camps. And they pass on this information to the security. Why are you not going after it? It came out. It was an embarrassment to this administration. Now we thank God that they have secured the release of everyone, the 23 that were left. But that is why we are saying the government must win itself of all this.
Before we go, because we have a short time to go, I also want you to weigh in on the award I was giving out to Nigerians. Given you just said performance of some key officials in government, do you think they were deserving of the award?
Not all of them. Not all of them. I believe there are those who should not have made the list, and there are those who should have made the list that were left. You saw one of the airlines, Saraki was not.
Yes, his name was Conspiracy.
And this is a former president of the Senate. Meanwhile, wait for this. Meanwhile, the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, who left under controversial circumstances, was given GCOA, just like the incumbent on the Kayode Ariwola. Why the double standard? You gave Ahmed Lawan GCOS. You've left us Saraki. Is it that?
And even the former speaker to Dogara's name was on the list. I don't know.
Of course, because Dogara is an enemy of the administration.
Because his name was on the list.
So it's political. If somebody said, "Why am I not among your audience?" I said, "Who knows me for?"
But some journalists were honored anyway.
No, I mean the president, rightfully so. Femi Adesina, Dikin Femi Adesina. These are meritorious awards. I mean, I will not begrudge for that honor. I mean, Femi Adesina was well deserving of that honor. He was just doing his job. He's as a spokesperson, you cannot dissociate yourself from whatever is going. It's better you resign than to say, me, I'm not there, I'm not the part of the government. But he did his job professionally as best as good. And then the NUJ president is very well deserving that at least journalists was also recognized. And then the athletes, the musicians, the entertainers.
Yes.
I'm happy that they have their due reward and their recognition. Then Okonjo Iweala, Chimamanda Adichie, Amina Mohammed, and many others. Yes. Even the Nigerian permanent representative at the United Nations, Professor Tijani Bande, was also recognized. So this, of course, majority of them. But for half of them, you want wonder how did their name. How did they, but you know, this is a political consideration, whichever way you look at it, and they try to balance things out. At least they recognize Okowa, Wike, the Olu of Wari, Olu of Ife, several other traditional rulers who are also similarly recognized. But I wish Buhari has been doing this every year.
Perhaps, do you think that maybe there's a yardstick or indices they measure that is just not their own yardstick? I was talking about the former chief of staff, army staff now, that was given ambassadorial position.
Yeah. You know, they even recognize the one that died.
The majority of Nigerians, they feel that he didn't deserve.
General Atahiru that died
there's a different
in
yardstick. Yes. Okay.
the one that died in plane crash was
Plane crash.
recognized, and the current chief of army staff was also recognized. You see, if Buhari has been doing this every year,
of course, this day publisher.
deservedly they took. You know, if the president has been doing this every year, maybe many more Nigerians will have been recognized than they just did this cumulative work.
Deserving Nigerians.
From what I read, I think it's nomination. Somebody would nominate you. And from what I read, there are approximately about 5,000 people that was nominated, out of which they now reduce it to 450. But it was very tasking for the president to stand for 3 hours. You know,
the president is quite fit. It was quite impressive.
People were very happy.
In
fact, it made the social media rounds that say Baba is very strong.
Very strong. That was why I said it.
3 hours on his feet. We thank God that unlike 2017 when he was perpetually in the hospital. But you see, whichever way we look at it.
And he looked so healthy, so strong.
Whichever way we look at it, it's like FIFA award. It's like even the Premiership. People will always have reasons to say, this person is not deserving, that person should have been given. But you can't give everybody at the same time. The most important thing that I have advocated is that, look, if the law setting up this national honorary award gives the president the prerogative to give award, it should also give him prerogative to withdraw such award. For those who may later on be discovered to have been enemy of the country.
Exactly.
Why should somebody who has been convicted of corruption still be saying is CON or DCON or MFR? He should never be allowed to use that again on his name, even if he has printed any card.
And we had the former one before the retired Chief Justice.
Yes.
Elect in Osabri.
That
one was not given.
No, which one?
The Code of Conduct Bureau said it was found wanting.
No, is it
the one that was supposed to be sworn in as the CJN?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You forgot the man from Bayelsa. I forgot his name now.
Okay. The one that was sacked or not
again.
Okay, so or not again. He wasn't given. Unfortunately, so that's why I say it's politics. But what I'm saying, the point I'm making is that if you are found to have soiled your name after receiving this national award, it should be withdrawn from you. Likewise, I've advocated even chieftaincy titles, doctorate degree, honorary doctorate degree, all this should be withdrawn once you step out of, and then your name should go to the Hall of Infamy, blacklisted, published with your picture and everything, so that it serves as a deterrent. You cannot be a CON, GCON, MFR, CFR, whatever, and then you are caught with your hands in the cookie jar, and then you still retain your award. No, all those chieftaincy titles you have gotten, all the traditional rulers should withdraw it from you. All the doctorate degree, honorary doctorate degree, honoris causa that you have received should be withdrawn from you. All the national, some people get up to 2-3 national awards. Some will get MON, then later MFR, then sometimes GCON, depending on later.
I think publisher of this day was given an award before.
Yes, he
This
has.
time around,
So
yes.
maybe an
Yes,
elevated one.
yes.
So what we are saying is that if you are found wanting after the conferment of this national award, the law setting it up should also allow the president to withdraw it on conviction, not on suspicion of somebody was alleged to have committed a crime. But if you are convicted by a competent court of law, whatever honorary awards you have received, whether this one that was said yesterday, or chieftaincy title, or the doctorate degree, or even religious, I'm a deacon in the church, I'm a pastor,
Talking about religion,
all of
that
this should
imam
be
is
withdrawn.
actually his award very well deserved.
The one that saved 300
Oh,
Christians
yes.
in his mosque in
Yes.
Plateau State. I think he has even been he has been honored previously.
Even
but
this paper, leadership has given him award before.
It's very well
Some
deserving.
other papers also gave him
Yes,
award.
it's very well deserving. It shows religious tolerance. While others will have chased out the Christians to go and get killed by the marauders, he protected them, he saved them. Just like Rahab in the Bible saved those spies and salvation, he was able to save his lineage because of the good deeds he did to the people. So we should all learn the right lessons. Beyond the euphoria of winning, I saw quite a number of people on social media congratulating their loved ones who have been honored. Yes, beyond that euphoria, it's a call to service. It's a call to action. It should not just be, yes, because you are a minister, you are a governor now. You should be spurred by the recognition to do better, to promote peace, to be patriotic, to discontinue with anything bad that you are doing, so that the country can be a better. I asked somebody on my show this morning what the brain drain is doing to our economy. We were discussing 2023 budget, and it was very emphatic that we are losing human capacity to other climes. Today, almost everybody is going away to Canada or US or UK or even Dubai and all of that. Dubai has even stopped issuing us visa for tourism. Now it's family visa, and some people who they will pay for family of five, only them will go. But now they have started turning them back from the airport. But let's make this country livable. So it's a call to service. If you have been honored to the least honored person yesterday out of the 450, let them all be good ambassadors. If they can use the honor, because I've also listened to, for instance, when Obama was giving the honor, the award of Nobel Peace Prize, and they said, what has been his achievement? The defense was that it's to spur him to work for world peace. So sometimes you give this honor in anticipation that it will bring about a behavioral change. That, okay, I'm in CON, I'm commander of the Federal Republic, I'm a member of the Federal Republic. I should not be found wanting in my public service, in my private life. I should be of exemplary conduct. That is the way I see these national honors. Not necessarily because of your past achievement, it's also to spur you to be better citizen, greater citizen, patriotic citizen, and selfless citizen. No, let's all be of exemplary conduct, and Nigeria will be a better place to live.
Yeah, will be a better place to live. Thank you so much for your presence here in the studio and for the honor to celebrate your 30 years of media activity.
Next year we will cut cake,
Yes,
God's sparing our lives.
more ink to your pen.
Amen. And you know what will have gladdened me most? You asked me the question whether it's Nigeria of my dreams. Of course, it's not yet to, and I'm pained by the very perilous state of affairs in this country. So much so that our electoral investment has not yielded the needed positive result. But we still have another chance in 2023 to get things right, to make the right choice. And I've asked people, don't just vote for one right person at the presidency. Vote across board. Because if you have one right person at the presidency, he cannot dictate to the 469 members of National Assembly, the 109 senators and the 360 members of reps. What about the 993 members of state houses of assembly? What about the 36 governors? What about the 8,809 councillors? What about the 768 local government chairpersons and then 6 area council chairmen? So if we don't get it right across all those leadership structures, a tree does not make a forest, because the best intention can be frustrated. It's a democracy. So if I become president now, and you say, Jide is a very good man, so I take a bill that will create a better life to the National Assembly, and they say kill in view. They just kill it in view. So what do? You can't whip them. You can't knock them. So we need right people across all governance layers and all governance tiers. So let's not make the mistake of just one person. One person cannot do the job of steering the ship of this country in the right direction. So we should shine our eyes. I hope next year we will have a better reason to celebrate. Right now, I thank God for sparing my life, getting me to stay out of trouble, and giving me the strength and the grace to continue to deliver.
Congratulations.
Thanks
Well,
much.
beyond this, your quality day on today's Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time, same station. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.